Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers Titans Return Legends Class Rewind. Rewind was another figure I got at TFCon this year, but he's getting reviewed with other Titans Return figures because he's part of that toy line. So if you don't know anything about Rewind, Rewind was originally a Transformer that turned into a cassette tape. That medium is outdated, so they have gone ahead here and updated Rewind to transform into a smartphone, though still having a reference to his original form, with having a cassette tape screen background for his screen. And you can see the background there. It's all stickers. These corners are a bit damaged because just how the transformation is, so be aware of that. You got, besides the cassette detailing, you got an Autobot symbol, you got, he's on 3 bars, and he's got pretty good internet access, and he's on the Wi-Fi network. And then you got like messages and email and just mail and it's just texts and notes and all the things that you'd expect on your phone. Except looking at other stuff besides the sticker detail, he's got an Autobot symbol right up there. And he's got a red like power button right there. An oddly shaped power button, if you ask me. And then everything else is just robot bits and pieces. But there's a fun feature on here because you see that hole right there. If you have a head jack for some headphones, it will plug right in. It'll plug in and it'll actually stay there. It does absolutely nothing. This toy is absolutely too small to actually have any working electronics to actually listen to anything through. But that's like a neat touch that is worth bringing up. You can just stick the headphone jack in there, and it holds pretty well. Besides that, he has compatibility with other Titans Return figures, namely Soundwave and Blaster, the later class figures. Because in reference to their original cassette forms, you are able to stick Rewind and other smartphone bots inside the chests of Blaster or Soundwave. So you can do that, and it works no matter which direction you put them in. So there's that, if you want to pretend he's still a cassette. And I mean, there's not much to say. He does have wheels for his third tank mode, which we'll get to in a bit. But like, they don't even really roll that well in the tank mode. Like, the wheels are there and there, so I guess you can roll them around the ground if you want, if the wheels actually do touch the ground in this form. I barely even touch the ground in the other form, like I said. But he does come with an accessory. He comes with this gun, which does form the tank barrel for the tank form, and there is storage on here. You just stick it in the side right there. I do have to warn you, remember to take this out because this thing does bend. You can see mine is a little warped because it's not laying flush there like it is. It's sticking out a little bit because I did try to transform it once, and that did try to bend with it and almost snapped, so just be aware of that. So I'm taking that out right now before I forget about it. But before we get on to any transformations, let's look at some size comparisons in this one. Here he is with Legends Class Bumblebee. And you can see how they scale right there. Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. Let's move them over a little bit. You can see the scale right there. Voyager Class Megatron. And you can see that scale. And Leader Class 6-Shot. And where's the camera up a little bit? You can see that scale. So that's all there is to say about Rewind in his smartphone form. So let's roll right along and get to the tank form. And to do that, it's pretty simple. So we're going to take these gray pieces and we're going to untab them from the sides. I'm gonna flip them up on this double hinge, and they will sit there. Do that on the other side, and you can pull these out. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna rotate. You'll probably want to move move those up a little bit just to get enough clearance, because then you're gonna rotate those assemblies up 90 degrees. And then these tabs will slot onto the sides right there and there to lock that in place. And then you take the gun and you stick it on in the middle, in those two gaps right there, and it'll just clip on right there, and there you have Rewind in his tank mode. And that's pretty neat. That's a pretty neat tank mode. Not completely convincing, but like, you know, kind of, you can imagine it's some kind of sci-fi type of tank, and it'll work. It'll work quite nicely. You do see tank treads, and you got some silver paint going on there. And then besides that, you just have more of the same of what you saw in the audio form. You got some more robot details, some bits of robot details there. That's where the audio jack goes, and he does have tie-in master ports on his roof, so you can take, oops, you should stay on screen. You can take a tie-in master and you can get him standing on the roof of the tank like so. Probably not the safest place to be if you're like driving a tank, but hey, you could, that's what you are capable of doing with this toy. And like I said, he does have wheels underneath, and they don't roll all that well. So you just kind of slide him if you want him to go anywhere. But yeah, no articulation particularly. How the clip works for the tank barrel, you are able to get it to raise and lower a bit. No top rotation or anything, especially because just pretty much how he transforms. He also does have an issue of a gap, because this is where his knees are going to be in robot mode. But yeah, that's so another round of size comparisons for the tank form. Here he is with Legends Class Bumblebee, and you can see that scale. Let's flip him upside down so you can see from the ground up. Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. And you can see that scale. Voyager Class Megatron. And you can see that scale. And Leader Class 6-Shot. And you can see that. Alright, so that's all there is to say on the tank mode, so let's roll right along to the robot mode. And to do that, we're going to pull the barrel off. And we're going to take the gray panels and then untab them from how they're currently tabbed in tank mode. And then we're going to rotate them to the sides, off to the sides. Actually, we're going to extend them like this, because then we're going to... Actually, we need to get the legs out of the way first before we finish the arms. So you're going to pull the legs out, and you'll flip them down, and then rotate them forward like that, and flip the toes up. And you repeat that on the other side. Pull it out, rotate, flip down, flip up the toes. And then you can come up here, fold the arms down, and then rotate them forward so the hands are facing forward. Fold the shoulders down, rotate the hands forward, and you'll come up to the chest. You'll open up his chest panel, and then you'll flip out Rewind's head. And there you have Rewind in his robot mode. And that is a very nice little robot mode he's got going on there. It looks very good. He's a little beefy for Rewind, you know, the archivist. But, you know, this would have been a pretty neat eject if, you know, they did eject. Time's return is presumed to be over, and there's been no sign of his robot cassette partner eject anywhere, which is sad, which is pretty sad. But a closer look on Rewind.
He's got a gray helmet and a blue visor and a red mouthpiece, and he even has his little like camera on the side of his head, which is definitely a detail because that's not on that side of the head. His chest has an Autobot symbol in the middle and some yellow gold kind of. Not sure if that's, that's probably more of a yellow details on his chest. He's got some red highlighting details on his shoulders. His forearms are all gray, though of interesting note, this arm is solid, while this arm has a lot more hollow bits to it. Don't know why. That is a little odd. I don't know. Someone could tell me. And then the legs down here are just gray. And they're pretty simple. And then you got the tank treads making the front of the legs, and then you got the back, and you can see everything that is on the back. Now, for articulation, his head is able to rotate a full 360, and due to how the transformation joint works, the chest plate doesn't get in the way at all. Well, until you get the head looking down that far. It doesn't prevent like the hinge from working, so you are able to get rewind to look up and to look down. His arms are on ball joints, and they're able to rotate a full 360, and they're able to hinge out a little bit and a little bit out, but the way to get the arms to go straight out is to use this hinge and the shoulder right there, but then he'll probably end up crushing his head between his shoulders if you try to do that a little bit too much. There is a bicep swivel, so you can get that to rotate full 360. There's a bend in the elbow that allows a little less than 90 degrees of bend, just because the detail, some of the shoulder panel gets in the way of the arm, so not quite 90 degrees. And nothing at the wrists. No waist articulation, but he does have a ball jointed hips, so they are able to bend that far forward, that far back, and that far out. His knees are on ball joints and are able to bend as far back as you want, pretty much. And as it is a ball joint, the lower legs are also able to rotate a full 360. And then if you want, you can get the toes to bend down a little bit, though you can only really get down there and then there. So there's not a whole lot of posing to do with that. Also, the toes are pretty small, so yeah, you can't do a whole lot with that, but that exists. That the articulation exists. And for his gun, there is a port on the side of his arm, only on the right arm. The left arm does not have that same port, so you can only do this on right. So you can put the gun on his forearm, and you can have it stick out like that, or you can have him hold it in either hand. This will work in either hand if you want him to be holding it. I do kind of like it on the shoulder, like that. So I'll just leave that there, and then that's all there is to say on Rewind himself. So let's get into some robot mode size comparisons. Here he is with Legends Class Bumblebee, and Bumblebee edges him out by being just a bit taller at the head. Here he is with Deluxe Class Chrome Dome and his husband, and the two of them look very nice together. Again, Chrome Dome's a little beefy, but they still look very nice and very cute together. And it comes up to about his waist there. And here he is with Voyager Class Megatron, and Rewind comes up to about that line in the thigh. I'll just raise the camera up so you can see the whole of Megatron. Leader Class 6 Shot. Yeah, scoot them back a little bit. And Rewind comes up to about his knees right there. And of course, here he is with the channels and mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. If Wheeljack wants to stand, which he does actually. Yeah. So overall, Rewind is a very nice transformer. Very nice transformer. I've been waiting to get him for a while. It sucks that I never actually saw him in the stores, and the first time I actually saw him in person was at TFCon. So he's a bit hard. He was a bit hard to find. So if you get the chance to pick him up, go ahead and pick him up. Do be aware again of not leaving the gun in his in the side of him when you go to transform him back to robot mode or to tank mode, because that will bend and snap. So you can potentially break him by doing that. But yeah, definitely worthy of picking up, and especially if you are a fan of the IDW comics, since he plays a big part in those. But yeah, so that's all there is to say on Rewind. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All of the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.